It used to be where you'd have to schlep your stuff, your paintings. You'd have to have some kind of vehicle where you can schlep it from art festival to art festival, which is really fun and rewarding to physically meet people and to have your physical paintings there and people are looking at them. I'm not saying it's not amazing and wonderful. It is. But to be able to connect with people all over the world through social media, through websites, be able to make money overnight because someone's buying a service from you or buying one of your products that you made, that is like such a dream come true.
Live from Los Angeles, California, this is the Lisa Murray Show. And with your host, Lisa Murray.
The day I felt like I really started living.
I don't have enough money to start this business.
I'm so tired. I hate it. I'm working all the time.
I'm not inspired when I'm worried about money.
Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all.
I'm so sick of all these positive people talking about dreams. What about money? Like, how am I supposed to get the money?
What it's really about, it's about you pursuing what makes you come alive. It's about continually connecting with that energy and just keep doing that. Keep going towards that. That's what it's about. Just need to give up. There's too many obstacles. I can't take this shit anymore. Ships are safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are built for.
It feels really good to be my own boss.
I have dreams, damn it! Hey, you guys, how are you? We're already into January 2020. This is awesome. I actually feel really good about this year. I got a lot of the stuff from last year processed and sort of moved out, and I feel good about it. So normally we go kind of deep in this show, you know, the deeper parts of pursuing your dreams, dreams at night, symbols, signs, the hero's journey. And then we go a little bit mid-level with like friends and just basic obstacles. Well, today I'm going to dive into techniques to promote and sell your dream. So this isn't going to be for everyone, but if you just kind of want an overview, if you're like overwhelmed or terrified or whatever of all the online options, I want to go over what I know and just give you a basic overview of sort of everything, everything in the world. No, everything, you know, online in terms of selling and promoting. And it's not going to be everything, but it's going to be sort of, you know, comprehensive for right now, but I'm not going to go deep in each one. So if you have a question on any of these things or any questions ever about anything, you can always send me an email at ihavedreamsdammit@gmail.com. Or you can also send me a message from the website ihavedreamsdammit.com. There's a contact us page, I think. If you go to the bottom, maybe, or somewhere, you'll see it. Not every dream is meant to be sold or promoted. Some dreams, like I want to be a mom, you don't need to promote that, although a lot of people do, like on Instagram. But that's okay. It just shows us that they're happy and that there's these wonderful human beings that they are raising, you know, so it's great. But in terms of making money or having a career out of it, that's going to be the focus of today's episode. And there's so many options, and I know a lot of people get really overwhelmed and give up, and they go back to like just a regular 9-to-5 job because it's just easier just to get a paycheck because the whole thing is overwhelming. Well, you can learn anything, and if you have the right inspiration and drive in you, like if you're so inspired by something, just think of all this tech stuff, if it really stresses you out, is like running across the hot coals. You can do it. You really can. And you don't need to know every single thing about every single platform. You don't, you know, and you just need to know what you need to know to get your part done. That's it. That's all you need to know. And then as you do it and you get more comfortable, you can kind of expand out and do a little bit more here and there. Little known fact about me, after all of the deaths and the burnout and all of that, and I didn't want to do anything creative and I couldn't really do anything that required a lot of responsibility or thinking, I started teaching tech classes, iPhone, computer stuff, and it was so personally rewarding and fulfilling. I really, really enjoyed it. And the one thing that really drove me to do it, especially with like baby boomers and stuff, like my own mom, it was like, you know, my mom's very intelligent. These people are very intelligent. They didn't grow up with it. And so for them, it's very stressful. People who are afraid of tech or who didn't really grow up with tech always think that they have to have it all figured out. When you're around it all the time, you know that it's always changing, and you know when it's changing. Like they'll update the software or they'll update the hardware, which needs to be, then the software needs to be updated. So if you're confused, it's not you. And I mean, just the more you do it, the more you learn it. And you only need to know the part you need for what you need to do. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just learn that part. Okay, so let's get into it. So you're either going to just be promoting something, or you're going to be selling and promoting something online, right? Or in person. You can have an actual store. You make jewelry, so you go to craft fairs or farmers markets. So whatever it is that you do, you either are going to be selling in person or selling online, or a combination of both. But you're definitely going to want to promote it online through, Instagram and stuff like that, right? Right. So let's just start with selling, because that's I'm going to go quicker over that, and that's going to kind of be fast because I'm not going to get deep into it. So what you need to sell something, obviously you need a bank account. So I don't know whether you're going to use your personal account or you're going to set up a business account. You need to talk to an accountant for that, because I have no idea anything about any of that stuff, like taxes and whatever. It's confusing. But maybe if you're doing something small, start off with just your personal account. But again, ask an accountant. So you need a bank account, and then you're going to have either like PayPal or Square or, Stripe, or like one of those kinds of paying ways. Like you can get Venmo, that's like an app and it's through your bank, but that's more for personal or for small payments. It wouldn't be something that you would set up your business for. But you can do that with PayPal and some of the other ones like Square. And which one you set up with depends on what platform you go on. So if you're on Shopify, they have their recommendations. If you're set up on Shopify, I think is a small business arm of Amazon. And then you have Etsy. So Etsy's got their preferred stuff. And then there's, if you're just doing service, maybe that's good for PayPal. But PayPal's really good for really anything. I love using PayPal when I'm paying for something because I feel like it's safe. There's like that extra buffer there. But so there's PayPal, there's Square. So if you get a Squarespace website, then you can use the Square system. So it's really going to depend on where you want that to live. So I would recommend, if you have no money and you're just starting out and you make jewelry and you want to sell the jewelry, I would start with either, so you don't want to do a website at all. If you have no money at all, I would say start with something like Facebook. That's like the zero budget, just Facebook. And I know you can sell stuff on there. So then if you get a website and you're selling on your website, you need to actually pay additional. So you pay for your domain. I'm sorry if this is basic. If you already know this, I'm sorry, but I do want to do just like a basic overview for people who don't know, because I get people come up to me all the time and say, I don't get it. I don't understand. What is the difference between a domain and hosting and all that stuff? So I'm just going to talk like, I'm speaking to an alien that is less advanced than us. Okay, so a domain is your address. So that's ihavedreamsdammit.com. There's nothing on there except for that address. I have that address, and it's usually pretty cheap. You can get it for, I don't know, $10 or something, $12 a year. And that's just the domain. That's just the address. So you want to check and see if that's available. And then you pay for that. And if you pay for more years ahead of time, you get a, more percentage off. So if you know you're going to do this as your business, go ahead and do 5 years or whatever. I usually do 1 year because I never know what I'm going to do next time. 1 to 2 years, just depends. Okay, so you get the domain. And then if you want to put things in the website, like photos, words, videos, everything else, a store, then you need to have hosting. And that means you're paying for the memory that they're storing your website, all the photos and videos and all that stuff, they're storing the memory. So you pay for how much you use. So you don't want to overpay for that. If you just have a blog, you can do one for free, somewhere else. You may not be able to use your domain name, but you can do like your domain name mixed with the blog site name. But I'm sorry, I'm trying not to go down too many rabbit holes. But if you have any questions about how to set up a blog, like just a Word blog, you can send me an email and I will definitely help you with that. Any questions you guys have with this, if you're a listener of this podcast, I will help you point you in the right direction. I can't do it for you, but I can point you in the right direction and clarify it, because I don't want fear to stand in your way, to stand in your way between you and your dream. It's just tech stuff. People invented it. And so we can figure it out. And don't be too afraid of it. I mean, it's a little bit annoying sometimes, but you'll figure it out. Okay, so, the smallest website would just be like coming soon, or just a photo or something really basic. And then really advanced ones would have, really cool graphics, a full store, like a whole store integrated into the website and stuff like that. So you just really have to think about, well, what do I really need? And don't overthink it, because you can always adjust it. You can always go up or down. I say start small, and then as you grow and as you need things, you can add it. And you pay for hosting monthly. At least I do. You can probably prepay for the year, and you get a discount on that. But generally, it's like I have some websites that are like $20 a month. Some are $25. One has a store and it's like $30. So that's the whole thing. It's $30 a month, and then whatever the annual is for their domain. And a lot of them come with like building like little tutorials and stuff. Some of them don't, but a lot of the smarter ones like Wix or Squarespace, they come with templates that you can just pick a template and then customize it, because they realize most people aren't web designers and they don't have, $2,000 to invest in a web designer. So, if you just want to get started and you just want to kind of put yourself out there, I say start small, don't go crazy. And you don't even need a website though. You really have to think about that. Do you absolutely need a website? If you feel like I really need a website, I feel it inside, I know I do, then go ahead and get a website. But if you're just starting out and you have no money, I say just get an online presence through free social media apps, because that's where everybody's looking anyways. Okay, so the store, as you can see, there's a lot of different choices. And the store stuff is always changing, thank God. It's getting easier and better. But, you really have to connect your bank to it. And there's just a lot of stuff to it in terms of like figuring out your shipping, how much you want to charge for shipping, how are you going to do your packing. So that's a whole rabbit hole. But I'm just saying, if you want to have an online store where you sell stuff, there's, Shopify, there's Facebook Market, there's Etsy, and then you can have your own store that you create on your own website. And I'm sure there's many more. If you have any more suggestions, please feel free to send them to me and I'll add them to the show notes on ihavedreamsdammit.com, episode 19. Okay, so those are your choices for physical items that you want to sell. Okay, you can also sell your services. You can accept payments for like tarot readings or coaching sessions. So these are all things that are done online over Skype or Zoom. Skype and Zoom are both like video or telephone apps through your computer or through your phone. Okay, so, and I'm sorry if you already know this, but again, I just want to make sure anybody listening to this that doesn't know anything that I'm talking about doesn't feel, left out, that they kind of go, oh, okay. And again, if you have any questions, any questions at all, don't feel stupid. You're not stupid. You're smart. You just didn't grow up in this world. And so that's all it is. Okay, so I hope that helps with the store aspect. So you're either selling physical items that you're making or creating. It could also be, web design, and people pay you online and you do everything online. I've done that many times. I don't even meet the client. I just talk to them on the phone, talk to them in text messages, and I just make the website. They send me photos, and sometimes I go out and take photos, but sometimes I don't. And it's all done online. So it can be that type of exchange. Now let's get into promotions. I'm actually more knowledgeable about promoting than I am about the actual store, because I don't really have a store. I do stuff, but it's not, you know what I mean? I don't make things and sell it. So, okay. So let's talk about promotions. So there's free promotion stuff and then there's paid promotion stuff. I'm going to spend the bulk of this time talking about the free promotions that you can do right now. This did not exist, however many years ago. The fact that you can do this much promotion for free right now is pretty amazing. So you can promote by using photos, videos, or by going live. And I'm going to go through some of the main ones. So Twitter is good. It's only 140 characters or whatever. I think it's a little bit more now. And hashtags are important. Okay. I'll go deeper into it later, but I just want to whip through these. This is all my opinion. Okay. This is all through my own business, through my consultations and working with people. I think everybody should have a Twitter because Twitter is like it's like everyone having their own telegraph service. You're able to put out press releases. Not everybody's going to have Instagram. Not everybody's going to have Facebook, but anybody can access your Twitter. A reporter, a business, anyone. They always look to Twitter first. It's kind of like a basic feed of all things. And you don't even have to post there all the time. If you should, if you have something that's worthy of promoting and you're trying to build your tribe, but you don't have to promote there. Just get it for now so that you have it and then deal with it later. But just get the Twitter handle and post things. Try to be somewhat regular there, like maybe at the very least once a week, but that's not enough. But at least you'll exist in the world of Twitter. So if someone goes, it's like if Lisa Murray is mine. So if you go to twitter.com/Lisa Murray, then anything that I've ever posted is there. And, that's why they can find also deleted tweets. So don't tweet anything crazy. Don't get angry. But it's good. It's a good timeline. So like if you just opened your store or you have a sale, those are things that you should be posting on there. So then some people, they're only are on Twitter. They don't want to be on anything else because you actually don't need software to be on Twitter. All you need is a web browser like Safari or Chrome or Firefox or whatever, any of those. Because you just go to twitter.com and then / whatever the name of the company is. ABC News. Yeah, so that's why I think Twitter's good. I think everybody should have a Twitter. Even if you don't even really use it in the beginning, you should have it. Because personally, it was where I started social media. And I think it's still the most important social media tool out there. It's not the hottest. It's not the one that's trending. It's not all these different things. But it is still the staple of social media, in my opinion. Because it's not an app. It is an app. There's a Twitter app, but you don't need to use it to interact with people. And the only people you won't see on Twitter are people who have it set to private. But if it's a public business, you'll see all their tweets. Okay, moving on. So Facebook. I know a lot of people can't stand Facebook, and I was one of those people for a long time. I don't like all my worlds melting together because a lot of people are on Facebook for personal reasons, like friends and family or photos or whatever. And it does kind of bother me that it's like, I need to promote something. And then I've got someone from my high school that's on there too. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, like if they ever leave like some weird comment, I'm like, oh my God. Not that they would. People from my high school are really cool. I'm just trying not to piss anybody off. No, but seriously, like it just feels weird to me that every single world smashes together. So if I can look past that, Facebook is important in terms, it's kind of like the yellow pages now. Because think about it, if you're looking for a business, you're going to look on Facebook. A lot of times you'll look and say, oh, do they have a Facebook page? Like you just want to see if they have a Facebook page. And it's the cool thing about Facebook is that you can see other people that that are friends with you that have either checked in there or have commented or have liked the page or something. And then you can ask them like, hey, I was thinking about going to this dentist, or I saw that you liked this painter that I like. How do you know them? And they could be like, oh, I saw them in New Mexico at an art fair. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Whatever. So it's great for that. That's what I do think Facebook is really good for. The other thing that's good about Facebook is the groups. That's kind of where it shines right now. Groups are where it's at. That's where you really can find your tribe and cultivate your tribe. Like really, get your people. And it's a great way to share information and everyone stays on the same page. And it's really great. So Facebook's good. And I know some people don't want to be on Facebook, so I don't tell people like, oh, you should definitely be on Facebook. I'm not one of those people. But if you do have a business, it helps other people spread the word about you. And I feel like if you're just trying to get your stuff out to the most amount of people, why wouldn't you just have a presence as much, everywhere as possible? You don't have to spend a lot of time there, but just having the presence, like just the storefront. So you have your personal, I think you have to have a personal Facebook to then have a professional page, which I think is stupid. But you should have a page for your business and just, have your website on there and, I don't know, you can go live. I'll get more into all that in a second, but just in general, that's sort of the vibe of Facebook. Most people know that about Facebook, but groups is really the most important, I think, or the most valuable part of Facebook. Another thing that I tell all my clients to get, and I don't care what they do, I have someone who's in her 70s who's writing her first book, and I'm like, you need a YouTube channel. And she's like, what in the what? Everyone needs a YouTube channel, in my opinion. It's also connected to your Gmail account, but you can make it, whatever you want it to be. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Number one is Google, and Google owns YouTube. People look up stuff. Like I'll ask someone if they've heard of a song and they look it up on YouTube. And I'm like, what are you doing? Because for me, I look up stuff in Apple Music. Some people look it up on Spotify. Some people look it up, I don't know, on the internet. But yeah, I know a lot of people that look up songs on YouTube, and that's just where they find music. And I think that's fascinating because that's not what I used YouTube when it first started. But I think everybody should have YouTube because it's another platform. It's always growing. It's a place where some people are only on YouTube. They don't like the social aspects of stuff in terms of it just being about status or checking in and all that kind of stuff. They really see it as it's a culture. I can't really describe it, but I really love YouTube. And I recommend you get it, especially if, I want to give you an example of, it was before people go live. Now everybody goes live on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. But back in the day, there was an artist, and I'm going to include her link in the show notes because I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Oh my God. I'm picturing it, but I can't totally picture it. I'm only seeing parts of it. What is her name? Anyways, so she would use YouTube where she would paint. She's an artist, and she would paint. Well, she was an artist and she could edit videos really well. So I think she knew how to edit with good advanced video editing software. So, but anyway, she would make these really cool, fun videos, but she would also make these videos where the camera would just sit there while she painted. And she was a really talented painter. I mean, she still is. Really great stuff. And she would have cookies and something to drink, and you felt like you were sitting with a friend. And then after the video would go live, in a little bit, she'd set the time, the painting would be up for sale. And it was like you really wanted to buy that painting because you sat with her and watched her paint it. And that kind of stuff is so brilliant. There's no limit to how you can promote your art, your business, your work. It's just you. You're the only one that would limit it. There's just so many things you can do. And video is so where it's at. It's like we're teleporting, ourselves to where our customers are or to where our tribe is. I definitely don't use video, as much as I will be. I'm going to get back into it. I did in 2006 was when I started my YouTube channel. It's also Lisa Murray, youtube.com/Lisa Murray. And I started that in June of 2006. And I was blogging I used it just to blog, make video blogs about what it was like to try to be going for my dreams and having a full-time job. I just sort of that was keeping me alive. And then I did other things too, because I would, I don't know, I had made other weird videos, but that's how I started. And it was the videos weren't high def yet. They were still really bad web cameras, or they were just compressed and pixelated and they just looked horrible. So I wish it was HD back then, but, I still have, I'm going to actually put one of my early videos It's pixelated and everything, but one of my early videos from YouTube where I'm just talking into the camera, I mean, that was really like, no one did that. That was really a new thing back then. And there was really only a handful of us doing it on YouTube. And I knew a lot of them and would see them at different events in Los Angeles. And it's just weird because some of them have blown up and they're huge now. And some of them don't have anything to do with YouTube anymore. But for me, I kept my channel and I would dabble in it here and there. But for the most part, I've kind of abandoned it. But I do want to get back to it. I need to rebuild my confidence. The whole thing with the apocalypse in my life and everything is just, it's taking a while for me to kind of build back up to being strong on that whole thing. So every now and then I'll put a video out, but I'm not as strong as I used to be. I'm working on it. So be prepared for Lisa Murray YouTube channel. All the links to all these social media accounts will be in the show notes on IHaveDreamsDammit.com. Okay, so let's just take a break right now. And then we come back, we'll finish more promotional places. Do you love going to farm stands and buying fresh from the farm produce? Do you have to pull over on road trips to pet a cow? No? Okay, maybe that last part's just me. Regardless, we can all agree on our love for all things agriculture. And how about art? Don't you love watching films about artists? Painters, singers, dancers, musicians. Coming in September is the Ag and Art Film Festival in Vacaville, California, and they are open for entries. So if you have a film, a narrative, a documentary, a short, or a feature, if you're a student or if you're a pro, this is your chance to show your film to the world. And by the world, I mean Vacaville, California. But still, it's going to be awesome. Visit agandartfilmfestival.com for more information, and you can submit your film exclusively on filmfreeway.com. A couple more things about Facebook is I just want you to be aware of, they're always changing the algorithms, which is how people see the content on their feed. So if you have a Facebook page for your business, it's not necessarily going to show up for the people who have liked your page. Liking your page is only step one. You need them to interact on your page, sharing it, liking your posts, commenting on your posts, but then you need to also respond to them, get a conversation going, because that shows the algorithms like, oh, there's this conversation going on. There's customers, there's a business owner, and they just start to bump you up and make you more visible. But if you're just like a static page just sitting there, they're not really going to push you out. But also they're not going to push you out because they're trying to get businesses to pay for paid ads. So that has changed in the last few years, where it used to be where if you had people who liked your page, they would see your stuff. Well, now it's like, have you noticed that? There's pages that you like on Facebook and you never see their posts and you're like, what's going on? There's a whole different thing going on now. So I'm going to give you the hierarchy, okay? So the number one way that people get messages on Facebook where they see it or they at least get alerted to it is groups. That's like the number one way. So if you want to start a group, I have this podcast. I Have Dreams, Dammit. And there's a link for it on the IHaveDreamsDammit.com website. And, I really want that to be more interactive. I try to post things from the group, what's happening, but I want other people to post what's happening in their businesses and in their dreams. I want people posting and cross-promoting. So maybe I haven't made that clear enough. So I need to work on that. But groups are great because you get notifications. And I have some really great groups that I'm part of, and I have some other groups that are really dead. And mine is one of them. No, I'm just kidding. It's sort of dead. I'm going to work on that. Okay. I told you 2019 was a struggly year for me. I tried. I really worked hard at things, but I think 2020 is going to be a little bit more, focused or something. But okay. So groups is number one. Number two is going live. If you go live, that's going to pop up for people. And also I want to say Instagram is owned by Facebook. So pretty much most of what I'm going to tell you about Facebook is true also about Instagram. So going live is the best, but you can't have groups in Instagram. So this is now where it switches over to include Instagram, which is going live. If you go live and you're on live video, that's the number one way people will go, oh, wow, Lisa has gone live, or I Have Dreams Dammit podcast account has gone live. And so it just pops up and people pop in. Number 3 is stories. You know, those little things on the top on Instagram, they're circles, and on Facebook, they're squares or rectangles. Those are stories. Stories are really short, and they're videos or photos that you can add animated GIFs to and other things, links and whatever. But they only last for a short period of time, and that's why we like them. Because they're just sort of like these, they feel immediate. I know people think, well, why do they have all these different things? Each thing serves a different purpose. So if you want to post on your regular feed, because that's sort of like your basic thing of your feed. But stories are kind of like these little things that are easily digestible. They feel very now. A post could be, I could feel like it could be old. Like, I don't know when this was. When did they even post this? Oh, this is from last week. But a story only shows up on the top line as the circle or as the rectangle for that day, for like 12 hours or 24 hours. That's it. And then it disappears unless they save it in Facebook as a highlight or in Instagram as, I think it's also a highlight. Wait, what's it called in Instagram? Yeah, highlight. Okay. The stories are really like where you want to put most of your energy, to be honest with you. If, you're really trying to build a relationship with your tribe, with your customers, with your clients, with the world, I try to do stories. I'm really weird about social media for my stuff. I do it in spurts. Like, I'm really into it and then I need a break from it. So you need to find what works for you too. But, if you're doing a business and you're really trying to make money and you're in there, you probably maybe consider hiring somebody. And if you hired someone to do most of your posts for your business account, then you're having a consistent, flow of information always going out there. And then you're still monitoring it and you're still posting stuff maybe to your stories or every now and then or whatever, but you have a constant presence out there. If you need help, there's no shame in that. That's okay. And there's also other programs you can get where you can schedule posts ahead of time and they can go out to all your social media accounts. So there's things like that you can look into if it's just not your strength and you just want to do it maybe once or twice a week and that's it. And you don't want to think about it. That's probably the best way to go. But really, you want to be engaged. I mean, that's kind of what social media is. It's like you want to be out there. You want to be talking to people if you want that. I get that, with art and stuff, sometimes you need that solitude and you need to be in the creation of life. You can't be constantly churning stuff out, if you're not first experiencing it for yourself. So I have so many thoughts about social media because, literally I've been doing it since the beginning and I wish I was smart enough to invest in Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all these different things because I was already doing a lot of, Snapchat, I was late to that party. I was really late. I didn't get it. I was resistant to it. I was like, why would I want to do that? It looks like a bunch of kids. But there's a lot of older people on there, and there's people who do it for other reasons, just to communicate with people. It's just another platform. It's just another place that some people feel more comfortable there. Okay, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. I don't want to get to Snapchat yet. So then that's what you need to consider. The stories are where people really look at stuff. So be thinking about that. If you're not on the level of wanting to go live yet, at least consider. And what also I want to say, if you go live, you can have the video facing your work. You don't have to have it on your face. People don't consider that. You could be narrating things where we hear your voice, but you're showing maybe, I don't know, if you're gardening and you're showing the flowers or the plants, or if you're making jewelry, you're showing your work desk. You could even put your phone, prop it up against some books or put it on a tripod if you want to get fancy, but just show your work, just show what you're doing. Let people see, let them in a little bit. You don't have to talk or you can talk, and this is where the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. And it's neat because really what you're really just trying to do is just let people inside a little bit, but you can do it in a way that you feel comfortable with. It doesn't have to be the way other people do it. You don't have to wear something skimpy and be bent over something and be like having some deep quote over it. That's not the only way you have to do social media. You can, do other things. And so find your groove, you know what I mean? Like get creative with it and just find a way to connect with your people. Okay, so let's recap. Twitter, I think everybody should have a Twitter handle. So if you don't have one, go get one right now. You don't have to use it right away. We'll talk about it in future episodes, but just go get a Twitter handle. And then when you get one, make sure you tell me, or you can send me a tweet. You can send your first tweet and say, to @LisaMurray, LisaMurray. And you can do hashtag I have dreams, damn it. And just let me know what your Twitter handle is and that you're from the podcast, and I will follow you and I'll shout you out. So, so there's that. So just do that. Get your Twitter handle, and then also get your YouTube channel. Get your YouTube channel. You don't have to use it yet. You don't have to post anything on it yet. You don't have to customize it, but just set it up. Set it up for your business or for your dream, your career. Okay. Facebook, I'm going to leave that up to you. I have so many mixed feelings about Facebook, but it is kind of a good, I don't know. It's a good place for other people to network your stuff. But I hate that you can't use hashtags. I hate that I can't just find you. If I were looking for you, unless I knew the exact spelling of your name or the exact spelling of your business, I don't know. It feels hard to find to me. It feels very confusing. I had a hard time with it for a long time. It was really hard. And if you do have a Facebook, if you have a group or if you have a Facebook page or anything like that, and you'd like to tell me and I'll shout you out. So you can either send it to the I Have Dreams Dammit podcast Facebook page, or to me, Lisa Murray. And my Facebook is, can anyone guess what my Facebook handle is? Yes, Lisa Murray, LisaMurray, like Bill. And yeah, so you can send me a message. You can send me, tag me in a message, and just let me know you're from the podcast, because I won't know you're from the podcast unless you tell me. Okay, so YouTube, you've got your YouTube, you've got your Facebook, you've got your Twitter, and Instagram is great. Instagram's kind of like the main place now, especially for an artist, I think. It's much more like portfolio focused, and I love the hashtags. It's all about the hashtags on Instagram. And, I heard someone say at one point, oh, there should only be 3 hashtags. Are you kidding me? You should do a whole bunch of hashtags. Because not only can you find people by using hashtags, you can have people find you. And that's a great way to grow. Like I told you guys, I'm starting my new podcast, the Death Talk podcast. So I'm really trying to build that Instagram. And also just get ideas for shows, get ideas for people to interview. And so I found all these death doulas and end-of-life care people and morticians. And it's just been fascinating. It's a whole world. It's amazing. So I hashtag, and there's a death talk, or what is it? Positive death talk movement. So people are trying to be more positive and talk about death more positively and openly, and not have it be such a dark, secretive, sad, lonely thing. Death is all those things, but it shouldn't be secretive. You shouldn't feel like you're alone. And so I looked up hashtag death talk, or what's the other one I looked up? Even death doula. You could look up death doula, and then that'll take you down a rabbit hole. And then look at the hashtags for all the posts that you like and start just clicking on them. Click on the hashtag, and that'll take you to all the people who also post that hashtag. And then start following all those accounts and start liking things that you like, and craft your account to be reflective of what you're doing. So, this is my take on it. Everybody has their own version or take of it. I know some people like to color coordinate, or have a color for your brand. And I totally get that. And I do resonate with that. But I also think that to me, it's just about connection. And if I really like what you post, I don't care what color it is. And if you go live, or if you post little snippets of your life and I'm connecting with it, I honestly don't care whether that matches the box next to it. I don't even check that. How often do we actually go to the full page? We probably go there once and just look at the person's bio, and, and then after that, we're just looking at individual posts, or if they go live, or if they post on their stories. So I wouldn't overly stress about that kind of stuff. But okay, so hashtags. Just start looking up hashtags and put hashtags on all of your posts, and make sure you have really generic passwords like death. For mine, you don't have to put death. Don't put death on yours. Unless you're dealing with a topic that has to do with death. But death or, generic ones. And then I also do ones that are specific. I do Death Talk Podcast. So I've created that one because that's the name of my podcast. That's also the name of my Instagram account for that podcast. And then even I do that for this one too. I do hashtag I have dreams, Dammit, for this Instagram account. And then I also created another one that's just IHDD. So that's I have dreams, Dammit, right? Acronym. And then I'll do IHDD19 would be today's episode, episode 19. So if anyone else wanted to post anything to do with IHDD19 with this episode, then if they put that hashtag in there, all I'd have to do is look up that hashtag and I'd see all the posts, all of the 2 posts that have to do with this episode. So it's kind of cool, It's a great way to index and find people and then be found and organize. And it's just great. To me, it's like going down a rabbit hole, but it's a productive rabbit hole. I'll try to do it maybe once or twice a week on just various accounts for my clients or for myself and just kind of look around and get inspired by other people and find other really great accounts. That's the thing too. It's not just about building you. It's about finding other like-minded people that inspire you. So Instagram, highly recommend it. And if you get an Instagram account or if you have one already, tag me in a post or a story or something, and I'll repost it on the I Have Dreams Dammit Instagram account. So any of these social media accounts, if you have any of them, if you want to tag me or the podcast, I'll repost you. Okay. Now we're going to move into, I should have brought it up earlier, but LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a professional social situation. I don't just accept people on there because that's my literal professional life, like working at Paramount and things like that. I don't like to accept too many people because unless I know you, because, somebody else that I do know will be like, oh, do you know this guy? Because he's applying for a job and you guys, it says that you're friends with this person or you're an associate with them. So I really don't like that, but I know some people just accept everybody, but I don't think that's what LinkedIn's supposed to be like. Maybe they're going to change that, but I'm pretty particular about who I'm connected to on that platform. And I definitely don't use it as much as I should. I know it's changed recently and I should be posting more, podcast episodes and film stuff and everything. And I don't because I'm having a hard time switching my brain from being like the office worker in the LinkedIn world to being this entrepreneur, artist, whatever I am now, podcaster, film festival director, la 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 la. Okay, so TikTok is amazing. And, well, no, let me start with Snapchat. So I didn't want to get into Snapchat. And then my friend's niece is really into Snapchat, of course. I mean, everybody young is in, but now they've abandoned Snapchat. It's all about TikTok. But Snapchat's just fun because you don't actually have a page or an account. Nothing lives forever. So you know how like on Instagram, you have your main thing. So if you go to someone's Instagram account, you can see their whole portfolio basically or all their pictures. Well, Snapchat doesn't have that. There is no thing like that. It literally is only things that last for a second. And you can save them to your own photo, camera roll in your phone, but there's no place that you can highlight something. You can repost it at some point, but whatever you post on Snapchat, it literally goes away and that's it. And that's kind of cool. There's something kind of cool about that. It makes you post different things that you probably wouldn't post if you knew it'd be around forever. So it's kind of cool. And some people really just only like to be on Snapchat because of your attention. It's smaller. You just go boop, boop. You can tap right through people's stuff. If you're like, oh, I don't want to hear about this, or, oh, they're at a concert, I don't really want to see this. And you just go shoop, 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 and you're just quickly out of it. It's great. It's kind of like stories. It's actually mostly people felt like when Instagram came up with stories that they bit Snapchat. And once Instagram did come out with stories, they saved their ass because everybody who loved Snapchat moved back over to Instagram because now that had the best of both worlds. You could post really nice photos and videos. Oh, and then also Instagram also has IGTV, Instagram TV, which you can post longer videos, but I'll get into that another time. So Instagram's kind of like the dream situation right now because it has everything. But Snapchat is literally just stories. It's just short things. And that has a place in the world somewhere. It really does. Some people just prefer that. And so it's another way to reach some potential tribe members, clients, customers, ... So TikTok, I do social media and I'm like, okay, I need to learn TikTok big time. And I just couldn't do it. I was like, no, it's stupid. What is it? People are doing dances and stuff. I'm not interested. But I finally spent 5 hours one day. I totally went down this rabbit hole and I'm like, TikTok is brilliant. Because you know how you get dinged if you use a song? Facebook is really pulling stuff now. But if you have any kind of, copyrighted song or something like that, it's bad. Well, in TikTok, they've incorporated that into it. So the songwriter gets credit and then you can lip sync any song. I looked up old Madonna songs, every kind of thing you can think of is in TikTok. And you can do challenges. They have different challenges. And that's probably what most people see is when they're doing some weird dance or I don't know what, jumping over something or just something stupid. And they're little short videos and they're just fun. They're easily digestible. I can't even describe it other than I understand why it's so popular. I totally get it. And there's not just young people on there. There's a lot of motivational speaking type people on there because it's just sort of like the way we consume information. We like it quick. We like to swipe through it. Yeah, I don't know. You have to check it out, but I definitely think that if you ever have some time and you're interested, maybe just ask some people who are really into TikTok and Snapchat for them to walk you through it. And the first couple times, especially if it's completely brand new to you, it's going to be like they're speaking another language. But each time you go back to it, you're going to know a little bit more about it. And it's just fun. For Snapchat, I love the filters. I think the filters on Snapchat are so much better than the Instagram filters. But it's fun. And, in some ways, it's like a inexpensive or free Botox because you're oh, look at this filter. I have makeup on and my hair looks like it's done, and really you're just getting ready to go to bed. So sometimes, you just need that. So you can just sort of say a little message or say hello or connect with your people. And yeah, you don't have to be worried about what you look like. Right? Right. Okay, so then there's other places like SoundCloud where you can post your music and up to a certain amount, you can have it for free. I also have my podcast on SoundCloud. And so there's a lot of other peripheral website services that are also apps for our phones that are really great and free. They all have free levels that you can promote yourself. And some people are only on that platform. So that's what you have to remember when you're thinking, well, I'm already on Facebook. Well, yeah, but most people are not, young people especially, are not on Facebook. They're on Instagram and TikTok. They're not on Facebook. That's turned into something else. So if you want young, whatever people, if you don't care about that, then yeah, that might not be your thing. I think it should be, though. I think, everyone should get into those kinds of things because there's a reason why it's popular. There's a reason why it's fun and good and it serves a purpose. But definitely I think everybody of all ages should be on Instagram just because of the hashtags. You can totally find your people, Okay, so let's say you want to pay some money. Well, then you can pay for ads on Instagram. You can pay for ads on Facebook. That's good for if you have an event or something like that. You have to really think about it though, and there's that whole world. And there's a lot of people that offer, classes on this and everything. And you really want to know how to target your demographic and all that stuff. And I don't know that much about it, so I'm not going to even pretend like I do. But I have done paid advertisements for the film festival. It was just good. It was helpful because it got the word out because I'm trying to get people even from outside of this immediate area to want to come in for the festival. So, yeah, I paid for ads and it was great. And you get the whole breakdown for that. And you can start with your budget. You could just say, I only want to, spend $10 or $20. And then you learn. So if you've never done a paid ad before, just maybe do a little one and try it out. And you'll see they walk you through it. On Facebook, they really walk you through it, and Instagram too. Cause it's owned by the same company, like I said. Another way to promote yourself that's really good is merchandise. And a lot of these companies that exist now where like I think Teespring is one, where you can get mugs or hats, bags, shirts, pillows, prints, posters, whatever. And it's you design it and then you have your little store. So you have your little logo or a little saying that you say that maybe you say all the time or maybe it's just some design that you made. And then a customer would go there and when they order it, that's when it's made and it's made and shipped by that company to you. And like I have Dreams Dammit mugs. I still have my I have Dreams Dammit mug. I love that mug. But I haven't gotten my merchandise back up since post the apocalypse. So I need to do that. So I'll definitely let you guys know when I've got my merch back up. But I like, when someone's talking to me and I lift out my mug while I'm looking at them and it says, I have dreams, damn it. Just, sometimes they need the reminder as well that you're talking to a person who has dreams, damn it. So don't get that twisted. But merchandise is great. And it's like, they're taking their cut for, making it, shipping it and all that stuff. But then you get a little bit of money as well. There's other ways you can do merchandise as well. Like I said, since I haven't gotten into it, since I gotten back into everything, I don't know the newest, but I know there's a place called Cotton Bureau because I hear about it on the Creative Pep Talk podcast. And I know that's just t-shirts and it's like really design heavy, but maybe go there and look around if you're really into design and t-shirts. It's called cottonbureau.com, I think. But Andy J Pizza, I know I always talk about that podcast, but it really is my favorite podcast. He is an illustrator. So for him, that totally fits his brand, and if you're a designer, illustrator, artist, whatever. But if you want t-shirts and other kinds of things, then there's other companies that do that. And that's, you don't have to come up with the money ahead of time. If you're just trying to get started with your business in the online world, that's just another way you can put something out there with no, money up front. So people are paying for whatever they buy. When you create your website or if you're, obviously if you're posting on Instagram and stuff, there's a couple apps you can get that are free. And there's new apps every single day. And then sometimes apps are discontinued. So I don't know. It's a revolving door. But one of the ones that I use all the time, an app on my phone, is called WordSwag. And it's just great for putting words on photos. And they have stock photos that you can use. They have photos that just sort of come up on the basic page of the app. Or you can launch their stock photos. Or you can open up your camera, your photo album in your phone, and you can pick a picture out. So if you took a really great picture of a sunset and you want to add, your Twitter I'm thinking about Twitter now, and you want to add your Instagram handle or whatever, or your website, you can do that through WordSwag. I'll have all the links for all these things in the show notes on ihavedreamsdammit.com, and it's episode 19. And then I'll have all these links. I'm going to try to get those up before this podcast goes live. So WordSwag is a great app. And then also if the picture isn't the right size, like if I want something square so it can go on Instagram and look a certain way, then, or if I want to do an Instagram story, it's more long and rectangular, then I use InstaSize. And that's just quick and easy. They just redesigned it not that long ago, and it's like a little bit more confusing now, but for the most part, it's straightforward. But literally, there are so many apps that I can't even, and I have so many on my phone, but I really only use WordSwag or InstaSize. Those are the two that I use. So that's the only two I'm going to tell you about, but there's a lot. So just when you go into the Google Play store or when you go into the Apple Apps store, just for the search, do free photo edit or free Instagram photo app or something like that. And most apps are free. And then if you want better fonts or better choices, it'll cost you like a couple dollars, like $2.99 or something like that. But just be careful and don't get one that you pay every month for unless you're absolutely sure that this is the thing that rocks your world and it's worth it. But just be really careful about that, because I think I accidentally signed up for something that was like, I think it was like $4.99 a month. And I was like, what is this? I mean, it's not that much money, but it adds up, and it's like, I don't want to spend that much money on a stupid app, So just be careful and just make sure it's a one-time purchase. And I would always try the free version first before I would pay for anything, unless I know for a fact that I'm going to want it. But I try to be careful with that kind of stuff because it just gets confusing, and why even get into it, right? Right. And as far as design on my computer, because their app is not that great, I use PicMonkey, PICmonkey.com. And I actually pay $5 a month because I move around so much. I'm either in LA or I'm in Northern California or I'm in Arizona or I'm here or there, whatever, that I always need to design something. I need to do some kind of Photoshoppy type thing somehow, some way. And it's beyond something I can do on my phone. And so PicMonkey is my main thing that I do all of my client work on, and even my own stuff. I did all the visuals for the Ag and Art Film Festival on PicMonkey. I did all the visuals for my poster that I had at the film festival for my film sole providers was done on PicMonkey. All the visuals for this podcast, PicMonkey. All the visuals for my Death Talk podcast, PicMonkey. It's just my go-to. It kind of feels like it's not as fancy and as complex as Photoshop, obviously, but it's pretty involved. Like there's almost nothing. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but there's so much you can do. There's so many little clip art things and fonts and filters, and I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But I like it. I'm comfortable with it. That's the one I use. So that's something to consider. But I know a lot of people use Canva, Canva, and that has a pretty good free level program. And I know a lot of podcast hosts that they use that. That's what they use for all their podcast art and stuff like that. So yeah, check Canva out and check out PicMonkey and let me know what you think. And if you have one that you go to that you're like, no, this is my go-to on my iPad or my computer or my phone or whatever, let me know. Send me a message because I'd love to add, the listeners' suggestions to the next tech episode that I do, whenever that will be. And in the meantime, I'd add it to my notes for the next time I do one, but also add it to the notes for the show notes. So I really want to help you guys with the technical stuff because that's a big thing that stops people. And it's confusing or it's expensive or I don't know. It just gets overwhelming sometimes. And you're like, all I really want to do is be a painter. I really don't want to do all this stuff. But we live in the time now where it's actually a positive thing that there's all these really cool ways to connect with the entire world. It used to be where you'd have to schlep your stuff, your paintings. You'd have to have some kind of vehicle where you can schlep it from art festival to art festival, which is really fun and rewarding to physically meet people and to have your physical paintings there and people are looking at them. I'm not saying it's not amazing and wonderful. It is. But to be able to connect with people all over the world through social media, through websites, be able to make money overnight because someone's buying a service from you or buying one of your products that you made, that is like such a dream come true. That's amazing. And people can find you anywhere. And the more you are interacting with people and building a strong connection to your people, the people that get you and love you and like you and love what you're doing, even better. And there's just so many tools out there that you can do all this stuff for free or very little amount of money. And don't let fear or confusion stop you because you have dreams, damn it, and you got to get this out there, whatever it is. And also, I didn't even get into if you want to start a podcast. I'm actually working on a course on how to start a podcast that's mobile, that you can, record anywhere, like in a hotel room, in a pillow fort in your hotel bed, or in your car, or wherever you need to do it, where you can record professional sounding audio and, how to edit it and everything and get it up. And so if you're interested in that, stay tuned because I'll let you know when that course goes live. But definitely, there is some tech stuff to learn, and I know that's not everybody's strong point, but don't let it stop you because you got to get your stuff out there. And You can do it. You can definitely do it. And also, you don't have to know everything. If you, after, I said all these different apps and all these different social media stuff and everything, just find the thing that works for you and just stay there. No one says you have to do everything. Well, I did, but you don't have to listen to me. I just like that stuff. That doesn't mean that's what everybody should do. You have to find the thing that works for you, because you should not be spending so much time on your websites and your social medias and all these different things that you lose your connection to yourself and you lose your connection to your own inspiration and developing your craft as an artist. That's not good. Don't do that. But there will be a little bit of a learning curve. And sometimes, you're going to have to put a little bit of time and energy into something that might not come naturally for you. But I think the payoff is really big. I think you're really going to enjoy connecting with someone on the other side of the world who just loves what you do. That's like the best feeling in the world. All right, good luck. And send me a message at ihavedreamsdammit@gmail.com or from the website ihavedreamsdammit.com. If you have any questions, any at all, there's no dumb questions. I'm the only one who reads the emails, so don't worry about somebody else reading it going, oh my God, you should see this email that someone just sent. Nobody will do that. There's no mean little assistant there. It's just me. Okay? So, you can send me a question. Thanks a lot for listening, you guys. And I know this is like a totally different kind of podcast than what I normally do. And yes, I had a lot of caffeine before I recorded this, but I just really, really kind of wanted to just blast you with like all this stuff and I know it wasn't all thought out and organized and everything, but literally I just want to like throw up all this stuff onto the microphone. Oh, that sounds awful. Ugh. And put it into the show notes as links. So if anything resonates with you, you kind of go, oh, yeah, okay, I want to check that out or something like that, because I don't want you to stop, okay? I really want you to like get to the next level with what you're trying to do. So if there's any way I can help you, just send me an email and I'm here for you, okay? All right, you guys, have a great week and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.